In his first public appearance after being away from the limelight for close to 2 weeks, the Azimio leader Raila Odinga has echoed calls for President William Ruto to leave his former boss Uhuru Kenyatta to enjoy his retirement in peace, instead of frustrating him and his family. Raila, who was addressing foreign media journalists in Nairobi in the morning of July 25, 2023, likewise called on President Uhuru Kenyatta to avoid being tempted into doing anything that undermines the state, for him to be accorded the respect that he deserves. That just like former presidents Daniel Moi and Mwai Kibaki, who became politically inactive after their retirements, Uhuru Kenyatta should also follow their example and avoid undermining the state for him to be left alone. On this, Raila started by noting that, "We have seen constant verbal attacks on President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the fourth president of the Republic of Kenya, the withdrawal of security of his mother Mama Ngina Kenyatta, the attack on his son Jomo by ununiformed people claiming to be police officers, and the attack and vandalization of the Kenyatta family's Northlands farm. These developments are alien to this country because as a country, we adopted the unwritten rule that for the sake of stability and dignity of our nation, we shall as much as possible let our retired presidents live in peace. We left President Moi and President Kibaki in peace, we appreciated the good they did and learnt from their mistakes, and this is pretty much the case in virtually all countries unless a retired president is actively involved in undermining the state." This statement that, unless a retired president is actively involved in undermining the state, was a clear message to President Uhuru Kenyatta to quit active politics or rather avoid being involved in activities that put him in a position that makes him cross path with his successor, William Ruto. That, should Uhuru Kenyatta do the same, he will naturally be respected as a retired president and left in peace. This call to Uhuru Kenyatta just came 24 hours after the former president announcing that he is no longer involved in active politics and therefore shouldn't be associated with Azimio protests. That actually, he recognizes William Ruto as his president and will be there to only offer him advice on how to run the country should Ruto be in need of the same at any time. Anyway, Raila went ahead in that press briefing to advise President William Ruto to be careful on matters touching on international diplomacy, especially when it comes to the Russia-Ukraine war. That he should take a multilateralism approach towards the same and avoid being trapped into leaning towards Russia of its allies like Iran or Belarus. He told Ruto that, as a country, we are paying a steep price for the Russia-Ukraine war. When Russia invaded Ukraine, Kenya took a principled stand at the UN that won international applause where we supported multilateralism against unilateralism. We rejected expansionist tendencies and use of force in settling disputes. We also rejected any new forms of domination and oppression. However, that clarity no longer exists, and today, we act with little regard for multilateralism and global opinion. We are in Belarus, Russia, Iran, and Middle East, yet this is hardly the best way to run a country. Let us know your thoughts on this in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe before leaving.